What's going on, guys? Zanbono here, and today we're going to talk about Madden 18 franchise mode. I'm going to do a fantasy draft. I'm probably only going to show about the first 15 rounds of the draft because I don't want to bore anybody or make this video way too long. So we're just going to get down to the players that matter the most and the beginning few rounds where people will understand which players are being picked still. They're not names you haven't heard, and they're the core pieces of this franchise. But yes, we're going to do a fantasy draft, and then I'm going to do the play the moments of week 1, similar to what I did last year when I made this video for Madden 17. We're going to do play the moment so that way you can get a feel for some of the gameplay because it's still really early into Madden 18 life. The game hasn't even released yet, and also you can just see the team that we're creating here together on the field and working together as a team. So we are about to jump into this fantasy draft here. We are the Miami Dolphins. It's my favorite team. We're going to start drafting, and right away, something you're going to notice, I do not have an early pick at all. So the first thing I do when I go to make my selection, well, I always pause the draft so I have enough time to look through everything, because you can still make your picks while the clock is paused. The first thing I notice right away, all of the good quarterbacks that I want are gone. When Andy Dalton and Phillip Rivers are your best quarterbacks available in franchise mode, you're kind of stuck, and I don't really want to use my first round pick on a guy like Andy Dalton. So right away, I'm going to try and find a playmaker for my team. I go to the wide receivers, and I notice there's a 99 overall still available with a 24th overall pick, Antonio Brown, so I'm going to scoop him up because I know he can be a difference maker for my team. In the second round, again, still not quite the value I wanted with quarterbacks, so I'm just looking for best available players here. Running backs usually can last a little while. I see AJ Green's available, and I thought to myself, how dangerous of a duo would Antonio Brown and AJ Green be together on the field? I scooped up AJ Green. Maybe it wasn't the best decision to go wide receiver first, but I do think I can dominate in the passing attack with two receivers of that caliber. Right away, I noticed Le'Veon Bell has disappeared here in the third round, so I'm going to scoop the best running back available with David Johnson, so my offense can be unstoppable with those three guys at the helm. Going into the fourth round, I need to go defense. I'm debating between Cameron Wake and Michael Bennett because I want to get a good pass rusher, and they're the two best available. I go with Michael Bennett just because of his block shedding is significantly higher than Cameron Wake's. So when the fifth round rolls around here, I go back to pass rushers. Cameron Wake's still available, and because I almost picked him last round, I might as well pick him here. So now I have bookend pass rushers. I kind of want to stick on the defensive side of the ball and get a playmaker back in playing against the pass. I got Rashad Jones. He can make big tackles, and he can kind of be a bit of a ball hawk in the back end of my defense. So I'm shoring up the back end and the front end. Next pick, Brent Grimes. Again, going secondary so I can try and stop the pass. Madden is much more pass heavy than it is run heavy. So you've noticed I've gone pass rusher, two defensive backs. Now I want to get a linebacker. Thomas Davis was the best linebacker available out of all three spots. Maybe not the biggest difference maker in the world playing left outside linebacker. Zach Martin, left guard, or he's going to play my left guard position, I believe, even though he is a right guard. Marshall Yanda, also going to be a right guard. So we have both of our guards set on the offensive line, the two best guards in the game. I try to build offensive line early because I like to be able to run and pass and have plenty of time and have plenty of holes to run through. Offensive line isn't the sexiest picks, but when you can go through and you can get yourself a really good offensive line like I'm trying to do right now, when I get Jason Peters here in the 12th round, I think that's really good value. You'll see I got Kyle Williams as well as a defensive tackle. I genuinely believe in building through the trenches instead of building elsewhere. So yes, I went offensive skill positions with my first few picks, but you can see in these first 15 picks, I'm trying to get my trenches built. Round 14 here, I want to find someone to complement Rashad Jones in the back end of my defense. Mike Mitchell ends up being the guy I'm going to go with. I just liked his stats better than the rest. I think he can play well in zone coverage. He's kind of quick, and he will complement Rashad Jones well. So at this point, round 15, this is the last pick I'm going to show you guys from this draft. I wanted to get someone across from Brent Grimes as well, so I went with Jonathan Joseph. I didn't really get, as you noticed, I didn't pick a quarterback because I didn't find great value there. So I did pick up Jay Cutler here. You didn't see me draft tight end or many backups or even my center, but I did round out those positions fairly earlier in the draft, right after that 15th pick. On defense, my linebacking core could certainly use a little bit of work, but eventually you're going to have to sacrifice somewhere. because you can't pick everything right away. I went a little early with my kicker and punter, probably in the 30s is where I picked them both, or late 20s, but I got, in my opinion, the best kicker and punter in the game, which hopefully will help me in the special teams aspect. So this was cool. You could set your season goal. You could set it as low as 7 wins all the way up to making the Super Bowl. We don't set our goals low here. We decided to set our goal for making the Super Bowl this season under Adam Gase with the Miami Dolphins and the team we have drafted. So again, we're going to do play the moments. It's week 1. We skipped the preseason. And now we're going to play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. You could see we were a 90 overall team. That's pretty good in my opinion. It showed at one point we had a 97 overall offense, and that's with Jay Cutler at quarterback. He's a sub 80 overall in this game. So the sub 80 overall quarterback, we have a 97 overall offense. If that tells you how loaded it is, because we went early with offensive line, AJ Green, Antonio Brown, and David Johnson. So here we go with the first taste of our offense. It's starting us on the first drive here in Play the Moments, and we're going to open up with a screen pass. I really want to get David Johnson involved early and often in this offense because he is just a workhorse of a running back who can really catch the ball well too. So we're going to do a stretch play here to David Johnson. He's going to pick up the first down for me, and we're moving the ball really effectively here to start the game. But we do need to get these receivers that we picked early involved a little bit as well. I ran here a 3 tight end set though, and I noticed right over the middle of the field, I don't even know who that tight end is. I think he's our 3rd string tight end, but he found separation behind the 2nd level of the defense, and we're going to take the yards where we can get them. So David Johnson with another run right up here in the middle, and you're not going to believe this, 3rd round pick, and he's hurt in the first quarter with a shoulder tear and is out for 5 weeks. So I'm probably going to have to go back and turn off injuries because the same thing happened to me last year in Madden. First game of the season, I lost my quarterback for almost the entire year. It is infuriating when things like that happen. But that ended up leading to a 3rd and long where I was able to find, I believe that was Josh Gordon, my slot receiver, deep down the middle of the field. I'm going to hit a slant route here to Antonio Brown for the first touchdown of the season. A little dance there for you from Antonio, but we have put our first points on the board with our 1st round pick. Again, we lost David Johnson though, so that's a really big deal to me. So it sets us up, they're in the red zone is where this moment is going to take over. I have a little bit of trouble tackling in this new game. I'm still trying to get used to Madden 18. I think this is only the 2nd game I've ever played since I got the game last night. So I'm still really fresh, and some of the mechanics feel a little goofy to me. I'm having trouble with a few things, like running the football. Sometimes I feel like I'm moving too quickly before I get to the line of scrimmage, so I'm trying to not use sprint as much. As you noticed, by the way, they just scored a touchdown. I kind of flipped the running back in the air over the goal line. But yeah, I'm struggling to tackle a little bit in this year's game as of right now, and I'm struggling to run the football very effectively. So I'm trying to figure a few things out. The game just feels a little faster to me, and there's a few things that just seem to be missing. Another slant route there. This time the play was flipped though, so Antonio Brown, I'm sorry, AJ Green scored the touchdown. So our 1st and 2nd round picks score the first 2 touchdowns of the season for us. That's why we picked them early. A big play by Cameron Wake initiating the contact. Michael Bennett helps him shore up the tackle there. And that brings us up to 3rd and short. It is 6-14, and it is already the 3rd quarter. Play the moments goes by really fast. And yeah, I'm cutting a few plays out here and there. I just kind of want to show some of the key plays from the game so this video doesn't take way too long. So we're going to go back to the screen pass. Tim Hightower is now my backup running back. I thought he was a pretty well-rounded running back when you have a guy like David Johnson who's hurt. His backup running back is going to be, I believe it's Danny Woodhead is my 3rd stringer. So Justin Tucker is going to come out here and knock through a field goal. It was a bad kick on my part. I've had plenty of perfect kicks, but I've also screwed up a couple kicks too, and that was a case. But he still was able to put it through. He's an amazing kicker and probably the best one in the game, so I'm glad I picked him up when I did, even if it was a little early. So I've been having a little bit of trouble stopping the pass in this game. I don't know if the zone defense is going to be as effective this year as it was last year, but again, I'm still working out the kinks. It's only my 2nd game playing Madden 18 so far. Beautiful spin move right there, but I was able to dive at his legs and catch Todd Gurley before he was able to score. But it is 2nd and 2 on the 3-yard line, so they are knocking at the door with a score of 17-9. Todd Gurley's going to take the ball out of the gun, spin move into the end zone, and this is going to make this game really close. I believe they go for 2. but they did not get it, so it is 17-15 with 2.5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. I'm going to try and run a little bit of clock here with Tim Hightower. He's able to get a stiff arm and fall across the first down marker, which should bring us to the 2-minute warning. It is now 3rd and 4 after just a couple plays where I gained just a little bit of yards. I try to throw the ball over the defender's head to my tight end there on the seam route, but he didn't quite get enough on the ball, and he underthrew him just a little bit, which is going to set us up here for about a 51-yard field goal. Justin Tucker, though, is going to nail that 51-yard field goal, and it was pretty easy, to be honest. So that's going to put us up by 5 points with 1 minute and 41 seconds left. So Philip Rivers is the quarterback here for the Buccaneers, a guy I passed on in the first round, and he needs to get his team in good position to try and take this game back over, but Michael Bennett and Cameron Wake share the sack and put them at 3rd and 20 with 1 minute 20 seconds left. He's taking forever in the pocket, and a great interception right there is probably going to wrap the game up for me, but I do need to waste some more time. They ended up holding me to, I believe, a field goal, and didn't waste too much time. They used all their timeouts, so 39 seconds left, down by 8. They certainly can still tie this game up and send it to overtime. Philip Rivers rolls out and at the exact same part of the field throws another interception. So that's how we're going to end this game. We're going to win this game 23-15. Pretty good game for us, even though I had plenty of mental mistakes. I definitely could have done some things better, but I like the team I drafted, and I hope David Johnson can get healthy, maybe sooner than the 5 weeks he was originally given. But if you enjoyed this video, please press like, feel free to subscribe. I'm Zanbono, and I'm out.